In this session, I'm going to share it through some stories. There is a crisis on the front line. And if you were to ask, okay, well, what is the front line? The front line is any retail environment that we all go into, whether that's grocery environments, whether that's clothing, our Starbucks, whatever the retail environment is, the hospitality sector, any sector that is consumer-facing is the front line. Even the contact centres at organisations like Air France, KLM. There is a crisis. I mean, you guys have done a phenomenal job with a 5.5% attrition rate. But I can tell you now that a lot of retailers have attrition rates that are 60% and upwards. It is a revolving door for many of these organisations. I spoke with an organisation last week and they said to me, Grant, in a few of those stores that you're looking at, we are losing people faster than we're able to hire them. That creates an incredible amount of pressure. So here I'm going to take you through some of the crises that we see unfolding. I'm going to give you a view as to why it is that nobody has actually solved it in this phase 5. I'm going to explain how a disruptive innovator like Axonify, and that is what we are. We're very different from a lot of other people. I'm going to introduce you to Axonify, what makes us unique, and share a little bit about our journey and how we've now come into the market here in Europe. But first of all, I want to talk about Sophie, because we have all met and had an experience with Sophie. You know, when you go into a store, you're looking for something, and you meet a sales assistant or someone that represents that brand that just gives you the most amazing experience. You usually end up spending more money than what you would have before. You come out with a little bit more, but you feel great about that brand. The thing is that Sophie represents probably 5 to 10% of experiences for a brand. The reason why Sophie is so engaged with her work is that usually she's in a very supportive environment. So she works for a manager who really cares about her, cares about the team, creates a supportive environment. When Sophie wakes up in the morning, she's genuinely excited, happy about going to work. She has great experiences through the day, she's supported, and when she leaves, she goes home, she's in a good state of mind, and she can spend her time with her family or loved ones or doing whatever she wants. And if you ask Sophie, does she believe she has a career potentially with that brand, she's more likely to say, yes, I see a future. But that's rare. Because you have people like Michael, and I've been a Michael. Michael has incredible potential. He joined the company on his first day thinking, this is great, I'm really looking forward to this, He comes into the store, I'll give you an experience, this is real life, I have seen this happen. He goes into the store manager, in a reasonably hurried demeanour, will say, welcome to the store, Michael, great to have you on board. I'm just going to take you around the store, show you where the key people are. I've got a few things to do at the moment, but here's Yvonne. Yvonne is going to just make sure you get logged onto all the systems. You're going to have to do some training day one, Michael. But that's okay because we've got this room at the back. Now, I don't know how many of you have worked in stores. I guess quite a few. For those that haven't, there's usually like a break room in the back of a store. The break room is where everybody goes when they're not in the front office, let's say. The break room usually has a notice board. So a lot of the companies that are downstairs or companies that you work with have been trying to digitize the notice board through great communications technology. So there's a notice board there. And then usually there is a PC. And I jest you not, I have seen people in front of these PCs and they have to put headphones on because there are people that are in the microwave or just having a chat, catch up, looking at the rotor. They don't really look at the notice board, only to see their rotor. So Michael sits down in front of the PC. Yvonne says, okay, here are your log on details. This is how to log on. What you're going to have to do now, Michael, is you have a new hire path. That new hire path, once we log on, here's your path, usually through something called a learning management system, which I know we've all dealt with. And I'm sure each year we do our anti-corruption, bribery and all that good stuff once a year. I won't ask how many of you fast forward or try go straight to the end of the questions, but it happens. Michael sits down. He's still engaged. He's enthused. Manager's busy, no worries. Yvonne's lovely. Sits down, headphones on, gets to the first training module. Now, 99.9% of new hires will go through that without any problem. You've seen it, right? You have a little video, a little bit of text. You might do a bit of matching. You have another video. You're not allowed to scroll through until you've gone through every bit. Michael does the first module without any problems. Then Michael realizes he's got that second module, and this path is like 20 topics long. Michael's already calculating in his head that this is going to take hours. Already, when he gets to that second subject, he's thinking, how can I fast forward? How can I go to questions? Meanwhile, his friends are like snapping or whatever in the background saying, what are you doing at the weekend? At that point in time, for Michael and for millions of people like Michael on the front line, there are many of them that leave that retail outlet that day and never come back. Because life shouldn't be like that. When I have conversations with people, I ask them two questions. First of all, what is the experience for someone like Michael as a new hire? And we go through what I just discussed, but in a various number of ways. The second question I'll then ask them is, okay, let's say Michael comes back. 3 months later, how is it that you as a brand can understand how confident and capable Michael is in those 20 different areas that he should be trained on to deliver a phenomenal experience like Sophie? Everybody I've ever asked that question to says, we don't know. Because the only people that know are the customers that receive an experience, and Michael, who's not capable or not confident, leads to that not so good experience. Maybe the manager occasionally sees that Michael's not doing something, and more often than not, it's not a pleasant experience. It's not a positive reinforcing experience. So this is the fundamental challenge. How is it that you can deliver through technology enablement to Michael that is absolutely personalised to his knowledge and his confidence? And how can you do that on a daily basis in maybe 2 or 3 minutes? The challenge is that the existing incumbents in this space aren't focused on that phase 5. They're not focused on what happens month after month after month for Michael, because it's not where they're investing their money. If you look at learning management system providers, for example, quite rightly, and you have amazing people there, what they're focused on is trying to digitize their enablement content to put it on that learning management system that Michael can sit with his headphones on and try and engage. Or what they're trying to do is to look at field trainers, and they're expensive, right? I mean, they're important people, but they're expensive. They're trying to digitize the role of field trainers. They're not looking at, after the enablement is given to Michael, how is it that we can continue to reinforce that and keep Michael's knowledge and Michael's confidence high? And this is where Axonify comes in. I believe that to be an engaged employee, you kind of need 2 things. You need belief and you need purpose. I absolutely believe in Axonify. The reason why I believe in Axonify is because I was really fortunate. I engage with customers that are on a journey for deployment of Axonify. And the last 6 months, for example, I've been working with a very large retailer here in the UK. They are now 4 months into their journey of deployment of Axonify. I see the results on a weekly basis because we have to review them for all of their key KPIs, and the results are outstanding. I think one of the key things that I didn't realise when I joined Axonify was it's one thing to give Michael 2 to 3 minutes of enablement every day. What I didn't realise is that Axonify actually delivers these real-time dashboards to Michael's manager. Sophie was lucky. She has one of those managers that intrinsically cares about Sophie. And they're rare. There's a lot of managers in a lot of stores that are stressed, they're very busy, and a lot of them don't actually know how to have a conversation with Michael and other people like Michael in their stores. Those managers do have, I genuinely believe that they have the potential to evolve into coaches like Sophie's manager, but they need help. And what platforms like Axonify do is provide these just incredible dashboards which enables Michael's manager to see Michael's performance, his evolution. It kind of, for the first time, shines a light on Michael. And what it means if I were Michael's manager is that I could actually have a conversation with Michael which says, hey, Michael, your customer service, I've been watching what you've been doing. It's fantastic. Your knowledge, your confidence, and I can see it translating into what's happening out in the stores. I can reward Michael for that through our platform. I can recognize him for that. And I can tell you now from what I've seen, this fundamentally makes a difference in engagement. And it is one of the key missing pieces out there today. One of the things that this retailer that I've been on this journey with for the past 4 months now, right at the beginning, they turned and said, okay, this application, how are we going to get it out there? They'd actually made the decision. They were going to try and see whether or not their colleagues would download the app natively on their mobile phone. 88% downloaded the app, which it's not called Axonify for them, so you brand these apps to whatever aligns with your program. 88% downloaded onto their own devices. That was in month 1. As they've brought on more waves, they're now up to 94%. And that's Android devices and iOS devices. In that far left screen, you can see, someone mentioned earlier about everything has to be one click. I get a notification to my phone. I use Axonify every day in my role. I get the notification. My boss is over there, Patrick. We're competing on points at the moment. He's slightly ahead. But we work on a rolling 30-day points, so I will catch up. On that, as soon as I see that notification, I click through, and I literally just click through on that daily training. But that daily training isn't generic. It is personalised to me. It's based on my knowledge gaps and my confidence levels. The average, it takes me about 2.5 minutes to rattle through. You have a choice. You can either play a game as part of the experience or just go straight into the experience. Personally, I go straight into the experience. Other people, they want to play a game as part of it. Whatever works, right? Everyone is different. Honestly, I finish my sessions and I know I have learned something new or it has reinforced my knowledge and confidence. I see that in the results of our customers. The one thing about Axonify, we are new into Europe. I'll explain on my final piece that we have been here for a while, but we're new in terms of our go-to-market here. The thing with Axonify is that we have grown with 2 amazing founders, both females, lots of empathy. Carol and Christine, they have just been incredible. They founded Axonify in 2011. Our company was founded by accident. If you catch up with us afterwards, we'll take you through the story, but it's a wonderful story. But Carol and Christine have grown our organization with 250 other what we call Axonifiers. We're very passionate about what we do. We have had luck along the way, but most of our customers have come through referral. And for me, I think that speaks 1,000 words. So a lot of customers that use Axonify, places like Walmart, 150 distribution centers across Walmart, not just in the US, but in China as well. A lot of our customers will use Axonify in their organization. They brand it as their own version. It can be skill up. If you go into a Foot Locker in the high street in the UK, Foot Locker guys, they're all dressed in like black and white striped shirts. They come in, they clock in, they lace up, and they hit the floor. Axonify is lace up. That's what Foot Locker calls us. 2 to 3 minute experience to improve the knowledge and the confidence of that sales associate in the store. So our customers have come through from referral. And that's great because it has shown that Axonify does deliver meaningful results. And, you know, I said there, right, I do think it's great. Great for anyone's career because you want to be associated with something that works and delivers. And I can promise you now, Axonify does. Because we've grown up in Canada and the US, a lot of those multinational organizations, just like with Foot Locker, there are other brands that I can't unfortunately name. I wish I could. I'm not saying anything about the type of jeans I'm wearing, but there's a lot of brands on the high street today that have come out because of what they've done with us in the US, and they use it here in the UK. We've been really fortunate. A couple of months ago, or 3 months ago, Marriott spent a whole 9 months looking at Axonify, testing. They're now rolling out Axonify. 750,000 people across all of their hotels, across all roles. So that's been brilliant. In the Middle East and Asia Pacific, we've worked through 2 amazing partners, Biz Group and the Capability team. And now we're in Europe. And in Europe, 2 weeks ago, Europe's largest grocer, Schwarz Group, we see their brand Lidl here on the high street, but their brand Kaufland announced they're going all in with this platform as well. I genuinely believe this is a game changer. It's a disruptive innovation which is needed, and I absolutely see the difference it makes on the front line.